Okay, perfect. So like I sent out in the email yesterday, there's 3 things that we wanted to cover, and then we'll open up to any questions that you guys may have. But so the first thing that I wanted to share is the app competition. So, we announced it, I guess it was a little over a week ago, but basically we want to see how you're using table queries and aggregations. Looks like Andres is joining. I don't actually, have either of you started using table queries and aggregations yet? Patchy or Ove?
Yeah, I am using it.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it's in some cases it is much easier than the API.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes I need to use the API.
Yeah. What are the use cases? Do you need to? Is it?
Is it to sort the table view and also do counting and build some logic around the numbers of what I have filtered out?
Yeah. Yeah, you should submit it. Just if you can take a screenshot and a short sentence describing what it's doing, you can enter to win. So far, there's only been 1 entry because it just took last week, and this is John from Tulip. He leads product education, but yeah, if you want to submit your answer here, you have a very good chance of winning so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Hey, Andres. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to cover, this, I don't know, I imagine probably most people on the call here are already familiar with it, but it's something that I think it's important to remember because oftentimes people think of table records as having a one-to-one relationship with records in tables. I mean, apps to records having a one-to-one relationship. With table record placeholders, you can actually load multiple record placeholders into an app to simultaneously manipulate data on multiple records, or however many you want. So to demonstrate this, I just put together a little demo that basically, if you can imagine, there's a machine that has multiple tools loaded into it. We can go in here, we open it up, and it basically adds time. So if we want to track the amount of time that each tool has on it, we can just do it that way. So, if I open up the demo and then I select tool B and tool A, we'll see here that they start incrementing on the timer, and there they are. Both of them at the same time are being updated. So from the app, it's quite simple. It's just kind of, you go into like the same way that you would create a normal record, but then you can just add as many as you want. So if you wanted to come in here, add tool 5, add record placeholder, now you have all the tools available. And of course, from the trigger, if you want to go in and create or load a record into, and then here you have all of the available records. So I think it's really important to know. Again, if you've been using Tulip for a while, maybe you're aware of this, but for newer users, it's they often see as table records just being a one-to-one relationship, whereas it's important to remember that you can have a one-to-many relationship. Does anybody have any questions about this? Is anybody already using multiple table records in an app to the same table?
No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you have use cases where you think it would be useful?
I think I have used.
Oh, you have used it. Okay.
I think I have used.
Yeah, it's something that I think it depends. Sometimes use cases you can just kind of clear the previous one and load a new one. But there are many use cases in which it's important to manipulate the information simultaneously, or just it avoids a lot of kind of saving to app variable, or doing like a lot of back and forth data manipulation, and it saves a lot of time. So I think it's something that's important to remember.
But is it like for more capturing in live data and update.
Capturing.
No, I just see that. Like I used the placeholder is more like in a sequence when, okay, I do this, then I can update that or load that. I don't see the use case at the moment that I need to update two different records.
Yeah. So
it's more like you're in your case a machine with different tools.
yeah.
Or some yeah, sensor values or.
Yeah, but even, I mean, I don't know exactly the details of your use case, but for the shipping, for example, I can imagine, you know, if a shipper can pack 2 pallets at once or something, you know, and one of them gets put on hold because there's not all the stuff that needs to go into that one, they can start working on the other one, or something. You know, if there's like parallel tasks that are running, it's quite useful to
Okay.
have them like that.
But that is interesting. If you have the same app in running on different stations, they can still use access the table with the same app
They can access
at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they will work on different shipment, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. So yeah. But in that case, you know, the app could have even just one table record and just use in multiple places, and it's updating multiple records, but just because it's running on 2 different stations. But yeah, I mean, other use cases I'm thinking where I've seen it used well. You know, I've seen kind of sometimes organizations will have kind of big tables of all the stations and where they track the status, who's using it, how long it's been in that status, what work order they're working on, or something like that. And then basically they have like a dashboard app that displays like, okay, top-down view of the facility. These are the various stations. And in that case, you need to have multiple record placeholders to display the status of the various stations. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, I think it's one of those things that, like, you know, if you start thinking about it, like, you know, when you're building your apps, it's going to be, hopefully you'll find some good use cases for it. And it's something, you know, it's important because it's, you know, it's definitely, the record placeholder is definitely not intended to be a one-to-one, again, one app to one, you know, that's why you can have as many as you'd like. So just an important thing to remember, I think. Yeah. Yeah, any other questions? Okay, so in that case, I'll just go over the last thing that I wanted to share today. And that is the logbook, equipment logbook bundle library suite that was released. So this is, I think, the second library release that has a whole bundle instead of individual apps. So when you go to install it, and here I'll just do another one, you'll see that we get an entire, like a collection of 5 apps instead of just the individual app that are put into a folder. And basically the equipment logbook, yeah, here it is. So you see, you'll get a group and you have the 5 apps in there. So this one here is basically an app that has in here, let me open it up. It has 2 main components to it. On one side, you have the configuration and management of the equipment and the how you want to configure the logbook for the given equipment. And then on the other side, you can actually log the whatever's happening and review these logbooks. So as an example, I'm going to go in here, equipment managers, where you can see all the equipment that you have in your facility. You know, you can just see the status, where the location, when the last review was, any information. If you want to add a new piece of equipment, we can come in here and we'll just call this one 09 April office hours. Type filter, of course, you can modify these drop downs as you like. put a default status to dirty. We can create a QR code, so if you want to print it and put it on the machine for when we need to log stuff in the future, it's easier to identify. Can upload or take a photo if we have one, and then just click add. And here we have it. Now we have all of our pieces of equipment here ready to go. Now, if we go back to the navigator and we go to the logbook management, this is where we can actually configure the fields that we want to track in the logbook. So you can see as I click through the various pieces of equipment, we can see the fields. This one doesn't have any. This one here, for example, has a couple of steps. So some instructions and then signature that is required. So if I wanted to add some to this piece of equipment here, you can just come in here and say instructions again, type, we can define what type of field it is, click add, and then we can actually add the text instruction. So you can say do something like that, add an image, we can define whether or not it's required, click update, and now of course here we'll have it in the list. Now if we want to also add a e-signature, we can just add this, make it required. Again, signature reasons, we can add them, you know, check work, and adds it to the array here. Please check everything has been accomplished. Update, and great. Now, you know, you get the idea. You can kind of keep going, adding fields as you'd like to for this specific piece of equipment. Oh, sorry, was there a question?
No, I would ask after.
Oh, okay. Then finally, from the logbook app, here's where if we have a camera, we can connect to it and just scan the QR code. Whereas here, you know, we can come in, say, okay, this is the one from our list. We can either change the status. Right now it's in dirty. If you want, you can come in here, just change the status to whatever it is. Okay, or then if we want to actually log something, we come in here. Okay, now we have the list of fields that we need to log. So we'll come in here, some instructions. We can say complete, and then the next one will be the signature step. So, you know, as you'd imagine, okay, so this is the list earlier that we had populated in the array. Click sign. I'll sign here, app completed, and now that's it. We're done. Now, if we want to come in here and view the, you know, for this piece of equipment, we have the entire log and the history for the record. So we can see when it was created, all the statuses that changed, and what have you. So as usual with these apps, they come with, this one actually comes with two videos, because it's a whole bundle. So it's kind of, there's a support article that describes how the app works, and then these two videos in which Gilad from Tulip goes through and basically does a more in-depth and longer version of what I just described. So, you know, this I think is an interesting app. You know, it's works out of the box, but it's definitely, you know, it's intended like all library apps. You know, you can go in and modify it as needed. You know, it doesn't even need to be used to log pieces of equipment, whether they're fillers or whatever it is. It can also be used to log other things, just to keep a running log, kind of like, you know, you would on a car every time you change the oil or whatever, just like a log of whatever happens to the equipment. Yeah, so actually, yeah, have you already used this app, Apache? Or if anybody else has any other questions, feel free to ask them.
No, I didn't. Just I was noticing when you were doing the demo that when you click on a drop down list, it's pretty cool. It gets bigger.
Yeah. Let me see. Where is the closest one?
I think when I do the same, this
one here. Yeah.
is this something special?
No. Well, when you change the font size, it actually changes. Oops. So if I come in here, open this one up, I'm in the.
It looks like two different font size. One for the actual value that is selected, and one to just show like a zoom in.
Yeah. So you know what? Let me just open it up here. Change that. So actually, I don't think you can change the one in the that you see. So say I come in here and add a single select. I don't think you can change this. Oh no, they both change at the same time here when you update it. So let me just.
Yes, variable, anything.
Okay. Let me add a couple of options.
Yeah, just that I've never seen this kind of zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. So like this is now with font size 32. And if I make this 56, it gets a lot bigger. And this is kind of because this is running on Mac OS, so kind of this uses like the.
And I think it's from your Mac.
Yeah.
I think on my PC I cannot see it like that.
It doesn't change size.
No.
Even if you change the font size here, it always stays the same.
I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
Okay, I can. I will do a test.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've never seen this, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I do the same as you, 1, 2, 3. Let me test that. 1, 2, 3. Yes. No, it's not as pretty. Huh? It's not. I can share my screen if you want. Just. No, I cannot.
Does it change size?
No, it's just it's the same size. That says the drop down list is the same size that you select. The result will be the same size of the drop down list.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
But on your example, the drop down list is bigger than the actual size of. So I think it's pretty convenient what you can do on your Mac. What you see, because you can have a small display value at the end, but it just get bigger for the user to choose.
Yeah. It takes up not a lot of real estate when it's not selected, but then it's easy to select. Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah. I've never seen, because around me everyone is using PC. So.
Oh yeah. And it's if you use it on for example iOS from your phone, it kind of populates with the list all the way at the bottom. Like if let me see if I have it quickly available. I'll open it up. And by the way, yeah, while I'm just opening that up, does anyone have any questions on any other questions on the equipment logbook app suite?
No.
I maybe have a question about drop downs.
Yeah.
So you can open the same drop down what you had opened before. Yeah. Can we somehow search? Let's say we have over 10 options and they don't fit into the screen. Can we somehow search by in some letters, and then it reduces the number of items?
So not in the drop down. What I've seen in the past that works quite well is if you come in here and you embed an interactive table. So say we have it here like this. I'll add to a table, say, okay, the user's table, but you can have any table you'd like, name and department. Then I'll add a text input over here. Variable will say filter for table, do something like this. And then in here, we'll add this filter. So we'll basically say, okay, the department has to be equal to the variable filter for table. Or yeah, let's start with equals for now. So now if I come in here and I say QC, it narrows that list down to only people in QC. If I put, what was the other one?
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, you got it. So that's a good solution.
I have one more question, but this is not regarding to Logbook.
Oh yeah, of course. Go ahead.
So I just got my app running in the factory floor, and we're making the pictures. So the question is, I record the pictures into the table. Is there somehow possible to conveniently watch those pictures that are saved into the table? Because currently they are saved as a AWS link, and we have to copy it to the address bar, and then we can reach it. But is it simpler somehow?
Yeah. So would a dashboard would an analysis be convenient for you?
Maybe but I want to watch entire row in some cases where are all our information about this row. This is I want to just click on the picture and it should be zoomed into, but this is currently not possible.
Okay, but would it be okay if you did it from an app?
No, because we want to watch it from the computer.
From the computer that doesn't have Tulip running?
Yes.
Okay.
We log into the system via browser, and we are in the admin panel, and we want to look at from there.
Yep. Okay. One thing I do want to mention is that you can also access the player from Chrome by using this.
Yeah.
So if I can't do it. It can't be logged into both at the same time. But if you did want to load an app from browser, you don't need to actually download the Tulip player. You can just navigate to without the underscore. Sorry. You can just navigate to your instance /player, and this brings up the player without having to download it.
Yeah, it's pretty inconvenient to do it.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, once you log in once, that's it. It's done. You can just bookmark it, and the app is opened every time. But I just did want to mention because it's something that I think is good to know. But to actually display the pictures here, we can have pictures table. Okay, I'll just add a column, image. Okay, I'm just taking one, and let me just upload. Oops. Okay, so I'll upload just a screenshot for now. Let's take a second. Okay, there's the AWS link you mentioned. So now from here, if I come back into dashboards and I add a chart table, where is it? Pictures table, create a new analysis. Oh, sorry, we ran into this the other time. No, you can't. Somebody had already requested this, and it's not possible to display the pictures as far as I'm aware. So the way that I would recommend doing it is something like this, in which you can have an app, and then if you just display the table record, for example, say I'll link it here to the pictures table, add a picture record placeholder. Okay. Something like this. And then if I display this here, it's going to make it big. So now if I come back in here, and for example, I select, this one here, you'll see that the picture is displayed from the table. Does that make sense?
This makes sense, but it's it still needs to something to build, because I'm just looking the easy way how to open the same link. Can you just embed the link into the table and we can click it and it directly sends us to the AWS site? This is fine by me, but this is not embedded.
This is, what do you mean by this is not embedded? Sorry.
The link. So I want to just click on the picture. When you open the, please open the table, this image table, what you just created. So here you add this image. Can we somehow do it like that when we click on this image and it automatically directs us to the AWS?
Not that I'm aware of. Let me see if in here. Oops.
Because in our case, I made my table like that. So if you have some problems, so we will look into the table and we get all the information into from the certain row.
Yeah.
And there are pictures, and there are information about the defects. And so when we check this information, we would like to also easily get watch this picture as well.
Huh. Yeah, no, so it doesn't look like you can access the link, but I don't understand quite the problem with this here. I mean, it's quite simple, it's just, you have the table that would be displaying all the information on the picture, and then the picture itself linked in the app, and then you can, when you're checking it, you just have it here available.
This needs to be open two things. This is too much work.
What do you mean it needs to be open two things?
So you have to open the player and you have to check the table as well during the same time.
Why do you?
I just want to watch the table.
Why do you need to open the table as well? I think if you have multiple records here, you can just open the app, and then any other information you have associated with this, you can just display it somewhere else on the app.
Yeah, but the thing is that I have stored the data that is entered into from the shop floor is stored into the table, and when I need to drill down and concentrate on some kind of feature or problem what we have there, this is the easiest way is to just open the table and see everything.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think I'm missing something, because if you had additional information in here, you can say, okay, this one here is something like this. We can say to upload, let's just upload the same image again. You can have something like this, and then quantity, you can say. So anyway, I'm just loading up some mock data here so we can see, but we can down here also display, for example, for the picture, we want to, let me just refresh it. For the picture, we can also, display the information and the, for example, the quantity. Okay, now it's not going to be very clean, but I think you just want to do this. And then last one is, kind of if it's been checked. And then from the app here, as you click through it, you have all the information in the table. And if the image is different, it's going to click through it. And then once it's checked, you can kind of come in here and update it and save information in the table. So I don't think you need to keep the table open at all.
Yeah, but the case is when you have the picture of the defect, you want to zoom it in, watch the little more closer,
Oh,
and you can't do it using the app. But
oh
you can do it from the link that is in this table, in the AWS link where the picture is saved.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm not aware of a way to get the link. You know, if maybe it's worth it asking the community if somebody else has found a way.
So it seems something like that. It just need to be embedded, like you embed a document in or link in some kind of note-taking application. It seems like something like that. But
Yeah. Let me see. Maybe this way we can do it. If we try storing it in a variable. In here. But it's just going to store the same. It's also going to be an image variable.
Is it possible to try to just open the link?
yeah, you
I
can.
don't know.
My thing is, the link should be opened as a click, not by right click and go to the link or copying it to the address bar.
Yeah, does it work? Table record picture ID.
No, because the ID is just going to open up like the.
The ID.
Yeah.
Yes, you don't have the image.
Right. That's the one I need. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry, Andres. I don't know a way of doing it. Maybe I'm trying to think. Like there could be a way. Basically, for example, so I'll show you an example of how. But maybe like using the API. Let's see. So for example, this SQL connector function actually is not connected to a SQL database, but we use it to generate a URL that we then use. So I think if you tried, and sorry, I'm just trying to think through it. If you have the image and you try to save, I don't think there is a way actually, but what I would do if I were you, I would post on community honestly, because there's people either at Tulip or somebody else who may have found a way to do it.
Can I suggest a product update? I think.
Or you can do that, but
it's a pretty easy thing to do.
Yeah, before doing that, yeah, I mean, sure, you can do both actually, like product suggestion and, but I think there might be a way that someone knows how to do it that is not too complicated actually. And I can look into it as well myself actually later on.
No, I will make a post when I have time.
Okay, that's great.
Probably not this week, but
okay, yeah, no problem.
But this was the thing what we noticed this week. So
okay, yeah. How's the app running on your shop floor, by the way?
So I'm currently implementing it, and I got a lot of questions from the mechanics. But anyways, they will all every day they give some kind of want some bug fixes and everything. But
that's good.
I think this is okay.
It's good, I think, to have lots of feedback from, because in the end of the day, they're the ones who are using it every day. So, especially if they see how quick it is, that when they have a suggestion, it's a good suggestion to have it added to the app. I think and it's really important to get this feedback from the users, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other questions or things that people wanted to share or thoughts?
I have one actually. I have one. It looks pretty stupid, but I still have some problem to figure out exactly the behavior of the complete app in comparison of the complete app and go to splash screen. Really, sometimes I complete app with just complete app, and my user, they end up in the first page of the same app, and sometimes they end up on the splash screen. So I don't really know. And I did some test this morning of just creating a complete button, complete app, and one complete and go to splash screen, and it's the same behavior. I think there's a small problem of consistency, yeah. But I don't know. I would just want to get your advice on this.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because actually a lot of the apps that I build nowadays don't. Yeah, so this goes back
So
to the. This goes back
see,
to the first.
when you complete now, you go to the first page,
Yeah.
and sometime you go to the splash screen, and with a I cannot really predict the behavior.
Huh. Is it always on buttons or is it on other triggers?
Depends. It depends. So my solution is super simple. I start to use only complete and go to splash screen,
Yeah.
because I know they will go to splash screen. But the really complete app is sometime you will go to first page, sometime you will go to splash screen. I don't know. I don't know.
Interesting. I'm trying to think. I don't know what could change that. The only thing that comes to mind is if it's a different, if it's when instead of a button is pressed, if it's on a timer or something, maybe there might be a change there. But if it's on the same, like I can't think of anything else, like, whether it's on the master layout or in some step or, if the trigger is on, like a row selected or whatever it is, like.
Because the expected action should go back to the first step of the same app, complete app.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the expected.
Yeah. Maybe let's see if in the documentation there's any information on exactly what the expected behavior is.
How to complete an app. Oh, thank you, Kevin, for how to
Yeah. Okay, so complete the app and change to another app, specific app. Okay. No, so no useful information.
I have seen the same issue.
Really? So
Yeah.
sometimes it goes to the splash screen and sometimes it goes to the first step.
Yes.
Have you been able to determine any kind of correlation?
No.
No, me neither.
Huh.
I think Giovanni.
Yes.
I think we talked about this for some weeks ago about this complete function of it and why it's there. So I think we said that the reason is that to get a record in the completion tab.
Yeah.
Of the variables. So if we know, like I have based all my data in tables, so I don't see the use for this complete function.
Yeah. Well, for example, so are you publishing various versions of the app?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you complete, it brings up the latest published version without having to do anything.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
so for example,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
that's a good reason to use the complete app. And also, just like if somebody else from your team one day starts to build apps, I think it's it's just good to kind of have the end to a process, and like you do your series of steps and then you complete and you go back to the start. Even though you don't need the records and the completion, I think it's a good practice, and like while people are learning Tulip, it's good to have that in mind. So I think it's that and the versions.
I just bumped into a problem with because the last thing I do before I want to complete it is to print a page, and that is not possible because it just skips the printing.
Really?
But that's enough. I think I hijacked the
No, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
No problem.
Oh, okay. So the print, you need to separate out.
I heard.
I have a solution to it, so I just go to the page and have a. Since it is the last thing to do, I also need to update some variables on the page, and that is not possible if you don't go into the page before you print it.
Yeah.
So I just stay on the page and have a timer for
Yeah.
30 seconds and then leave the page.
Yeah, okay, if you have a good solution, that's good. Yeah, I think and trying to go back to Patch and address your question, think what could change the behavior, but there's nothing that comes to mind of whether I mean, let me just try, for example, put it on the master layout versus put it on a regular step. I don't think it should be.
At some point, I still don't know if it's could be development version versus publish app. App complete, you go.
Let me try on a timer here. Yeah, I can't get it to go back to the splash screen. Actually, and while I was doing that, I remembered one thing that we are adding other triggers to kind of because like I was mentioning to you over a couple of weeks ago, we used to have every app to store any kind of data you needed to complete if you wanted to be within Tulip. And then as we have tables and we had like other things that came in, completions actually are not necessary, to store information and to run your apps. So we are kind of rethinking a little bit how the overall workflow will happen, and kind of just like when there's variables are cleared, and there's many apps in which you actually don't need variables at all. You can just link inputs directly to table records and whatnot. So I just did want to point out that we are kind of rethinking and going through some upgrades on how the whole notion works. Yeah, sorry I couldn't give a more definitive answer.
Yes, I have no idea really. I'm checking one of my previous example, and now I click and sometime, and now I can see complete. I can.
And go to the splash screen.
It's going to the. It's so weird. It's so weird. I have no idea. I don't know if there's something. I can feel something about development version versus published version.
Yeah, I just tried publishing this one.
But you don't have the.
It still goes back to the first step. And it's not that it's from the development.
No.
No,
I
it's
didn't. I
later.
didn't try.
Oh, look at this. From here, it does go back to the splash screen.
Yeah, I have no. Really, I cannot find. And here, no. I don't know.
So the first time it went back to the splash screen, okay, yeah, this is it's starting to look to me like it could be a bug. So
And after, see, just the consistency of is not.
yeah. Okay, but at least it's good that I was able to reproduce it. I'll share it with the engineering team right after this because this needs to be addressed. Yeah, thanks for bringing that out.
Yeah, it could be useful because I'm just running some apps now to in production and it will impact a little bit some. I see some execution that are being cancelled, but it's just because they are going back to the first screen and then from the menu they cancel the app. They just change app or restart.
Yeah.
And they are not supposed to arrive in the first page. So anyway.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, Gio.
No, go ahead.
No, I have another question that should be easy. It just I saw again some users asking about the 100 triggers limit, but I cannot really define what is this limit. I don't remember which one. Which one is that? Maybe this one from
this one here.
Even just yesterday, I think he's a new user. He sent some interesting question.
Oh, this one?
I think this one. No, is that this one at the beginning? Maybe not. But anyway, do you just what is that? Is it just 100 triggers in one step, or it seems that it could impact some loop? I don't really get it.
No, it's one second, because let me just stop sharing my screen for a second.
I think maybe it's a post from Ethan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
Yeah.
Maybe that one. Oh, and just I saw a few of them and.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's a number of chained triggers. That's what it is. Ethan Kingsley, right? Yeah. So.
Yes.
So yeah, Patrick, just so basically, it's it's entire chains of triggers. That's the defining thing. You know, it's not like you can have if they're completely independent, you can have as many as you want, but it's when you chain them, that's when
you chain, okay.
yeah, exactly. So this one here. Oh, here, yeah, sure, I remember. Yeah.
This. Mm-mm.
Yeah, this is really interesting. You're right. Yeah, and then he got around with it with Node Red, right? I think that Yuri suggested.
But I'm okay. To be honest, I have some big loop in some of my apps, and I'm starting to wonder if I'm reaching 100 triggers.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. It's a loop, so it's a chain. So it's like go to step, go to, you know, it's like without someone clicking or doing anything. It's when they're all chained up like that. Do you already have Node Red running? Because Yuri actually also suggested that, you know, do you have an Edge MC?
Not yet.
Not yet, because you can, if you don't have it, you can also use, you know, host Node Red somewhere else, and they do it for you.
Okay, so 100 triggers.
Chain.
And a trigger is like a block of actions. Is one trigger.
Well, no, it's the entire thing. So it's like this here, this entire thing.
This is one trigger, even if it's even if there's a lot of action.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm maybe not reaching, but I will think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I need.
Well, you know, you can reach pretty quickly if you're like looping. You know, if you have like a step that just goes back and forth. In that case, you know, you can reach it pretty quickly. But otherwise, yeah, it is hard to reach.
I have this kind of step.
Oh, really? Then that's pretty quick. You'd be surprised.
100. Okay.
Yeah, and is it to manipulate data in a table?
Yes.
Yeah. So in that case, you know, like with queries and aggregations, that was part one, kind of a larger release. Part two will be mass updates, in which you can.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully that will remove the need to loop over like that.
Yes, waiting for that.
Yeah.
I have one comment about this picture problem from the table. You can't open it directly from the table, but it's possible to open them from the completions.
Oh, did you just store it in a completion then instead and display it there?
Yeah, so when you click on this picture in the completion page, then it pops up as a bigger picture and you can zoom in and zoom out.
Oh, yeah, that could work well then. Yeah.
Yeah, but the table is better in my view anyways, because table you can structure as you want, but I don't get how this column structuring from the completion page are happening, because they're pretty mixed up.
Oh, it just creates a new column for every variable in your app. Like first it has like a bunch of metadata, like who's running it, what time it is, what station, what version, whatever, and then there's actually all the one column for each variable. Yeah,
but it's pretty complicated to make it structured.
Yeah. You can't kind of drag it around and customize it the same way you can with tables. But yeah, that's a good point. But I would still post a product suggestion because I think it's good, you know, to just have the URL of where the image is hosted. But yeah, okay. Are there any other questions?
No, it's okay.
Perfect. Yeah, really good session today. Thanks everyone for all the inputs. I will patch. I'll submit that that bug, because you're right, it's not behaving the way it's supposed to, and it's well, I mean, it's good to hear that you have a solution in the interim, but I'll definitely submit it.
Yes, and I can, if I can figure out some kind of patterns, I will tell you.
Yeah, okay, that'd be really good. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.